Let's see if this works. I think I just did it. I think I just did it. Lock it in place. I think I just did it. I'm trying to figure it out. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Yes, I know it's locked in. Ay, 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 ay. Okay, it is still there. I locked it in place. I was the one who locked it in place. Let's see what's going on here. Okay, 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 okay. Let's see what's going on here. I did it! By George, I did it! I did it, I did it, I did it. Because I am still recording. Yay! Oh, by George, I did it. Okay, let's put this on. Hi! Thank you. What a battle. I know I did it previously. I'm not the type of person who normally do it a lot. And I can read you. I'm set up. Yay. It only took me 24 minutes. Hi, everyone. Oh, gosh. Would you look at that? I did it. Yay. I am so happy with myself. I decided to go live today because of two things. Thing number one is that I am currently re-swatching my what went on? Yeah, I'm still live. I am re-swatching my what do you call this? Some of my cards. Yeah, I'm re-swatching those. I am also and one of the things I like to do now when I'm re-swatching things is I like to color them in this book. So just to kind of, test out my blenders that I have. I think I have 5 of them. 5 pencil blenders. This is Karen, and these were got like long ago, like before COVID. This is Prismacolor, so it's Karen Dosh Prismacolor, Turton, Derwent, and I think this one is Color. So I'm just working with these things. I'm in the studio. Jen, hi Jen. Hi. Yeah, Jen, it was a battle for me just now. Well, starting 10 o'clock, it ended about 24 minutes ago, trying to set up my live because I don't know how. So it took me 24 minutes to set it out. And I am so happy that you're here with me. If I kind of deleted all those old ones because my neighbor is getting their lawn done. And so you're hearing the stuff in the back end here. So yeah, it's a bit noisy, but we're good. We're really good. What I have going here is, let me check out this one here. Cause yeah, it's crazy. It is crazy. It is crazy. It is crazy. And it looks like I did it because I am now streaming, I think. Yes, it's connected. Yes, 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 it's connected. Yeah. So I'm good. Tell me if you're hearing any feedback when I do this. Are you hearing the feedback? And we're still connected. We're still streaming. Yeah. I just can't hear myself, which is interesting. But that's okay. That's okay. Let's see what am I doing that is wrong? You know what? I don't need to hear myself. You guys need to hear me. As long as you're hearing me, I'm good. That's okay. That's okay. I'm good. So I've been streaming now for 5 minutes, my average view duration time. Very good, very good, very good. I am so happy. I am so happy. Even if it's one person here, I am good. Even if, because I am good. I am good. I am good. Because, yeah. So what I'm doing now is coloring. So I'm going to be coloring these. If, what went on? What went on? What are you doing? Why are you freezing? Okay, cool. There is no noise. You can hear me perfectly. Thank you. Because it looks like, I put on the thing, but I had it muted because I wasn't sure if there was going to be a noise from my computer. So what I'm doing right now at this present minute is I am coloring. I know my channel is primarily a art review channel. I primarily buy products because honestly, I'm not sponsored. I've never been sponsored, but I currently buy products and review them because I like that hobby. I am a nurse researcher, and the researcher in me like to figure out what's going on. But what had happened was what happened is that I have these products and I love drawing. I love art. I love creativity. But I just it's I the issue comes when you're just buying them and you're not using them. So I do have I would say a healthy. I will not consider myself unhealthy yet. I don't have an unhealthy um I don't have an unhealthy, what's the word? I don't have an unhealthy obsession or an unhealthy collection. I do not have that. What I have is a healthy, um, what's the word? A healthy art collection, especially watercolor. I have a very healthy art collection. The problem comes in, and there is a problem. The problem comes in where I'm not using the product. So I'm not using them as often as I should. And that becomes the problem. What I'm not appreciating is how dark the screen is. Because I keep having to touch it to keep it alive. That's not what I'm appreciating. But again, this is like the first time I've been live since a year. I think I went live last year. But I never did it again until this year. And I only went live last year like twice. Last year. So it is, I kind of forgot all the amazing stuff I did, how I did it, you know? It's like something I'm forgetting. So it's like, okay, what am I forgetting to do? Yeah. So, but yeah, that's what I'm not appreciating, how dark this screen is. Because usually I remembered it not being this dark. I don't remember what I did. But anyway, I would go live again soon. Yesterday, I celebrated. Oh, thank you. Thanks. Thanks. Jen, you don't know how much your comments mean to me. It really does, because I'm like, I wish I could. For me, it's so much better if, I know they do it, but I don't know who does it. Like just Zoom and talk where we can just color together and talk because there's people in my country because I live in the country of Belize, by the way. This is welcome to Belize. I'm talking to you from Belize, Central America. And I have I know there's people in my country that does art, and I know there's people in my country that does coloring book art, but they don't I don't know who they are. And where I am, which is actually not Belize City, which is one of the major cities in this country. My country is really small. Like, if you live in a more developed country, you have a lot of major cities. You know, the United States of America is a more developed country than Belize, and they have a lot of major cities. However, Belize only have two cities and only one major city, and that major city is Belize City. So I do not live in Belize City. So, yeah. And what I like about YouTube is that I'm able to connect with people. I mean, I connect with a few Belizeans, but I'm able to connect with people from all over the world because where I am is quite isolated when it comes to art in Belize, where I live. So there's not a lot of people around me that does it. So it's not like I could just go up the street and meet a neighbor and she likes to paint and draw and stuff like that. I don't have that privilege. Hence why I appreciate YouTube. Let's see what's going on. I'm still live. I'm still here. The pencils I am using is Milan Big Lead. I bought these pencils right here. Oh, really? Hi. Hey. Oh, Jen from Artie Farty. Yeah. Hi, Jen. I know you. You're in Annie's group. Um, what I'm using today is I'm using, let me flip this here. Yeah. I'm using these. These pencils, I bought them here in Belize. So I am not sure if they're available in other parts of the world. So I cannot say, okay, if you go on Amazon, you'll find them. I don't know. Because some of the products that are featured here in Belize are sold. I think Milan, this brand here, the Milan brand is a Spanish brand. I think it's from Spain. So uh we so it is imported from Spain. Hence the reason why I'm thinking that I'm not sure of the availability because I also have Pointer that's available to me here, and that is from Pointer is Mexican, I believe. And then we have the basic product, and I know the basic product does have a office in the United States of America because one time I did email them to that office, but where they're actually from I don't know. And those are the other brands that are here in Belize: Basic, Pointer, Milan. You know, we don't really have your um Arctics and all those Arctics, whatever, what else other brands they have, Arteza. You know, I don't have that immediately available to me here in Belize. And if it is immediately available here to me in Belize, it's really expensive. So these products are, you know, they're very, yes, I am erased using this. These pencils, if you color light enough, you can easily erase them. So, and I just wanted to color today. Today was actually supposed to be one of my studio days. I do work as a nurse full time. Fortunately, right now I am on Monday to Fridays shift, so I don't work on weekends. And so today is one of my studio days. but I don't want to film right. I want to film, but I don't want to do a video. So I thought the best thing to do is to go live, which is nice because I want to film, but I don't want to film a video. Because today's a day I would have been filming one of my videos, but I just want to go live and start practicing going live because I want to do lives. So I just need to wait to see what's going on. So maybe by September, definitely by September, I'll know what my schedule is like. We're getting a new supervisor, and she might put me somewhere else. So I have to be prepared for that. And I don't want my live streams to be interrupted because of my nursing schedule. So when she comes, I'll see what it's like, and then maybe I could do the live on a more regular routine basis. But for right now, I just want to color, literally just color with these Milan in one of my coloring books. I think I talked about these coloring books before. Yeah, this is one of them that I'm using. Another coloring book I bought here in Belize. And I'm using it with these. I just finished swatch out. One of the things I like to do is re-swatch my stuff. So yeah, every so often I will re-swatch my mediums. So today is the day I did the Milan Biglet. I think there's a couple here that I need to re-swatch. So I have them like this. So I don't throw these away. To be honest, I don't throw these away. I put them up. Just because sometimes you would notice color changes. Like when I do the re-swatch, I'll notice that this swatch maybe has a lighter color. The color fades, which is pretty nice. Pretty nice. It's, again, the researcher in me. But yeah. And this really was a trip because, boy, it was a trip. Getting this done because this is actually, and the beautiful thing about my lives is that you will get to see like the behind the scenes, like the secret behind the sauce, of things that I do. Because I don't mind sharing what I know. Honestly, I don't mind sharing what I know. And I'm not a professional artist. This is something I love doing. I love art. I love creativity. And I want to share the stuff that I picked up, because maybe it could help somebody out there. So, what I did is, remember you have these stamps here? Yeah. Remember, I think you can get, this is the knockoff version. I'll be honest with you, this is the knockoff version. I think I bought this version on AliExpress or Amazon, because you can also find the knockoff version on Amazon. This is a knockoff version, and I put it on my the silicone stamps on these acrylic blocks, and then I use it to create my swatch card, which is pretty rad. Pretty rad that I use it to create my swatch card. And this is just cardstock. I glued the back with another cardstock, and yeah, swatch card created. And what I try to do, I learned this from another art YouTuber, from Sugar Sweet or Sweet Sugar. No, he's Sugar Sweet. And he grouped his stuff in colored family, and I thought that was really interesting and amazing, so I decided to do that here, which is really interesting and amazing too. So yeah, it is a lot of work. Let me see if I could show you, because I also do have the worksheet that I have here. See, how I grouped it. Yeah. So that's what I did before you guys saw me doing all this. Yeah. But after swatching them, I want to color with it a bit because these were some of when I started my art journey. It and I know the exact date because when I first started, the first thing I did when I started my art journey was attempt to draw. And one of the things that I do when I draw anything is I date it. So when I started my art journey, it was July 18th, 8 2018. That's when I started my art journey. Today. And one of the first things I bought when I started my art journey were these pencils. So these pencils here has been given a lot of love, as you notice. Now these are not the best pencils in the world because like I said, I test art supplies. But the more I got into product reviews, the more I started to appreciate um, products. Like literally, and this is one of the things that it doesn't upset me to the point that I get emotional about it. It upset me to the point where it's like some things that a lot of people who literally live in more developed countries take for granted. I mean, you have these people, they have access to the Prismacolors at affordable prices. They have access to the Arctics, the Arteza, the Color color pencils at affordable. They have access to these things. I don't, and for me, in my country, in the country of Belize, and this is what again a lot of I noticed that some, I'm not saying all, but some art YouTubers don't appreciate. For me, Crayola is equal to Prismacolor, you know, because where I am in Belize, Crayola is a high-end brand. Our and I do have one in front of me. Sorry to knock the show. Our affordable brand is this Angry Bird color pencils. You can get something like this at the local grocery store. You can't get Prismacolor. And when I see these art YouTubers saying, oh my gosh, these Crayola coloring pencils are so bad, what makes me so emotional is that this is what I am available to. This is what I have available to me in my country. You know, what if I don't have the means to import Prismacolors or to import polychromos? If I don't have the means to do that? I will be using Crayola. Sorry, that's what I'll be using. And it beat me up. And what I learned to do is to appreciate, even though, some color pencils might not be, Prismacolor amazing. There's things about it that I learned to work around using my style of doing art. For instance, these Milan Big Lead. Yes, it doesn't have the color intensity like a Prismacolor. It's a harder lead. The color payout is really minimal. You know, it will give you at best maybe 3 layers, but I learned to appreciate that about it, to work with my art style. Even though, yes, it's going to give me at best 3 layers of color, but to learn how to get those 3 layers, not to superimpose my hand when doing coloring. And I could do this same argument for any art product or product that, I keep trying to tell them, please remember where you're from. When you're basically talking bad about art products. D- Somewhere in the world, this is what a child or a new artist is only have access to. I remember just recently, art YouTuber said how bad rose art is. Growing up, rose art was the thing in my country because at that time we couldn't afford Crayola crayons. We could have only afforded rose art. And I had to learn to color, to do art with rose art crayons and color pencils because that was what I could afford, what my family could afford. Rose art. When I got my first pack of rose art crayons, I thought I was on top of the world. And now, as an adult, going on YouTube and there are these art YouTubers like, oh my God, rose art is so bad. I'm like, you guys don't know bad. And rose art isn't bad. I can work with rose art. But then again, I guess the best way, instead of saying the art product is bad, I think the better way to say it is these art products doesn't really fit the style or the way in which I do art. That's what I say. You know, what art product? I think I have them here. Like these. These are some fabric markers. Yeah, fabric paint pens. These don't fit the way I do art. Will I call them bad? No, I will not call them bad because they're they're not bad. It's just that how I choose to do art, my style of art, that it doesn't match it. And for me, it'll be frustrating for me. For someone else, maybe not so much. So instead of I raving on how bad it is, I could just say, you know what? Let's give it to someone who it better suits. So I am donating those. The other thing I'm donated to is my set of Who markers. Not the alcohol markers, the water-based markers. Those don't fit the way I do art. Is it bad? No, it just doesn't suit me. And that's not an awful thing if something doesn't suit the way you do something. It is not for you. Not everybody will like the color blue. There's some people out there who likes the color yellow, red, pink, green. So, yeah, it's just not your flavor. And that's an okay thing. So, now if you heard me rant, because that's like literally my rant. What's been going on with you guys? Tell me what's going on with you in your side of the world. I am up. I am live. I am seeing my time. I am here. I hope I don't get knocked off. But yeah, tell me what's going on. I can read the comments. I am so happy. And this is going to take me some while to do. Because as you notice, I don't really go really fast and I don't really superimpose the color. So yeah, I build up not slowly but moderately because I use like moderate pressure. So yeah, but I always have my swatch card close by because this is how I choose. I don't do thumbnailing, to be honest. I'm not a thumbnailer. And these tools are what I use to oh, my fountain pen. I love fountain pens. That's another secret about me you guys on YouTube may not know. I talk about it somewhat, a little, but I don't really talk about it a lot. I love fountain pens. Jen, if you're still here, Annie knows I love fountain pens. She actually sent me a fountain pen from England, an Oxford Helix fountain pen. I was so happy about. Yeah. This is a Gin House 7X750. Really nice, really beautiful. I've now been writing with this pen for about 5 weeks. I've ink it and re-ink it. I have right in here right now the diamine inks. Yeah, I really appreciate this. I use it mainly in my journal to write my notes. So yeah, a secret obsession of mine. I have a few secret obsession. Coloring booking is slowly becoming one, but I am not gonna do the coloring booking thing that is done here on YouTube because honestly I can't afford it. So I just buy whatever coloring book is available to me in the country of Belize, and that's what I color. And fountain pens is another. And hence why even though yes, I am an art channel, I don't feature heavily my coloring books because a lot of my color, I have a few. I have a couple of the Coco Wayo books. Just couple of them, maybe three of them I have. But I am not gonna go into the I can't even say her name properly, so yes, I don't have Johanna Basford. Really? Wow. Yeah, I know. You're so blessed. You have a lot of ex and the thing that you will not find expensive in your country, Jen, you'll believe it will be very expensive in mine. Very expensive. I once saw a pack of Prismacolors. Now these are the simple Prismacolor color pencil 12 set. I noticed on Amazon you can get it for like less than $5. You know, for me in Belize, it cost me $65 for a pack of Prismacolors. And if I do the exchange rate, $65 in US currency is $34.50. So a 12 pack of Prismacolor cost me $34.50. Whereas in other countries, it will cost you less than five. Or yeah, less than five on a sales day, maybe $10 the most. Yeah, so that's what I'm talking about, a box of Crayola crayons. It's like, yeah, you're really high end when you get Crayola because Crayola is a name brand in Belize, and you not only pay for you pay for the brand. So that's why I'm like, but I don't. Honestly, I can't afford it. I can't afford coloring booking as a hobby. I do collect fountain pens. So yeah, but I something happened. The mailbox service that I used to use, because I used to have a mailbox service in the US, they kind of changed management. I think someone else bought them over, or they changed management, and it happened to me the beginning of June. I start losing my mails, like I wasn't getting them, so I just stopped. So, which is kind of okay because I think now I'm going into a no buy for this. I'm like slowly going into a local buy, meaning that I'm only buying art products here in the country of Belize. I'm not doing, getting anything imported or invested in anything abroad and have them sent to me because, yeah, I think I'm okay. I've been thankful and blessed that I've had that opportunity. So now I'm only doing local buys. And I heard that one of the art and stationery supply stores here locally will be bringing in Arteza products, which is, it's not polychromos, it's not Karen Dosh, but it's just okay. That's amazing. That's really good. I'm happy that they're now invested in more higher quality products in art. Because first it was only like I said, Creolas and Rose Art and basics. So now they're doing more investment in arts, which is pretty good. And I think I noticed since COVID, a lot of people started developing hobbies and the art and state, especially here in Greece. I'm not sure if in your country you have noticed that too, that a lot of people start doing hobbies. So, and art is one of the hobbies a lot of people do. A lot of people do a lot of painting. I noticed that a lot too here in Belize. A lot of people start doing acrylic painting. So yeah, we have a lot of people who does that as a hobby here in Belize, acrylic paint. Yeah, I am more watercolor. And I hear the trimmer going off in my background. Yeah, my neighbor, she's having her lawn done. I think it's a she having her lawn done. So there, gardener is over there. Right now it is 10:58 in the country of Belize. We have been streaming for 11 minutes. No, we have been streaming for 35 minutes, 34 seconds, which is pretty cool. If there's anything you want to know, feel free to ask. I am an open paki right now. Open paki is a Belizean term, means I will tell you the truth. I won't hide anything from you. That's what an open paki is. I'm an open paki. It's actually a Belizean term. This is why I love my um swatch, because here am I looking for a color. I'm trying to, yeah, looking for a color, and I'm like, is this the color I want? And this is the color. But this only gives me so much browns. I think it'll give me 1, 2, 3, 4 browns. Because this lava brown is not really a brown. It's, I don't know, it looks more like a red to me. So it only gives me so much brown. So I have to be mindful with the amount of browns that I use. Now the brown that I was using just now was mocha brown. So now I'm going to go into using this one called wood brown. This is the palette I'm using. It's from the Milan Big Lid. Milan, again, is a brand from Spain. Why does this looks like the same brown that is here? I think it is. I thought I did mocha brown, but the mocha brown feels so... I didn't do mocha brown because you can actually see the difference. Yeah, those are little tricks that I do too. Yeah. Okay. So I didn't only notice it here in Belize. Okay, that's cool. I think it's cool when more people, go into their creativity. I just realized what I've gone did. But I only have so much brown to my disposal. And thankfully, I am going light enough to eraser it. I think they still sell these, because another thing I noticed too here in my country, and again, this will not affect people in more developed countries. They're like seasons when it comes to art. And I say that because I remember when I first got into art, there are certain art supply you could have find all over. Like for instance, when I first got into art, there was I could have find the pointer, chalk, pastel, pencils all over Belize. Literally, 2018 when I first got into art, these were all over Belize. Now it's not so much, you know? So they're like seasons, which is kind of kooky. So like one season, maybe for a year or two, you will be able to find this. But after that, no one sells it anymore. And you can't find it. And that too adds to the hoarding of art supplies that I do, because let's say for instance I love these Milan biglets. There'll come a day when they just stop sell it. And if it's something like these that I really enjoy using, when that day comes, it'll be like, yeah. So yeah, that also adds to the hoarding of art supplies. take me like, I'm not sure if I'm going to continue live stream till I'm finished this page, but I am, I'm not rushing to finish it. I'm doing very medium pressure, light to medium pressure. I'm not, I'm taking my time, enjoying my live stream because that's what I want to do. I want to enjoy the live. I really do. So yeah, this is not about me showing coloring. It's about me enjoying being live and to see if I can do it. I think I figured it out. I have to orient my, because I my camera is on my phone, so I have to orient my phone, then orient the live, then go live. Because if I don't orient my phone and then it doesn't orient the live, and even if I orient the live without orient my phone, it doesn't orient. So yeah. I know for Jen, if you're still here, when I'm in the Discord, I like to tell Tom what the temperature is in Belize. I'm not wearing my watch right now, but we're currently experiencing 86 degrees Fahrenheit. I know for you guys that's like pretty hot. That's like, yeah, that's pretty hot. That's pretty hot. That's like 30 something degrees for you guys Celsius, which is hot, but for me it's okay temperature. I'm not baking, which is pretty hot for me is when it hits like 95, 96, 99, 100. That's pretty hot. Right now it's just pretty cool right now. It's preferred temperature for me. I know Tom TTK, he likes it pretty cold. Yeah, I'm always trying to get him to come here to Belize so he can enjoy some of this blessed weather that I've been blessed with. Because I don't have a lot of browns and I'm using the browns to do the trunks of the trees. I'm wondering if I could build a case of doing the trees, the grass, the foliage here in traditional colors, and then use funky colors to color the animals in it. That's what's going on right now. The coloring book experience here in Belize is okay, I guess. It's like I said, it's not a, yeah, where our temperature generally 86 Fahrenheit is average temperature here in the country of Belize. It's like our unusual temperature is like when it hits like 96, 97, 99. That's unusual for us. It's this is pretty cool for us. Yeah. One of the thing yesterday was, like I said, my art journey's anniversary, my art anniversary. And I do have a Patreon, and so I'm it's not to advertise. I'm not asking you to do it. Is that I gave some of my downloadable stickers for my Patreon so that they can enjoy it. Because honestly, I don't think my art is good enough. But I'm trying to come out of that shell because other artists have told me to come out of that shell. But I am trying to come out. I am trying to come out because it is. I am much farther along my art journey than I was where I began. I'm making other decisions now. I'm not going to say better decisions. I'm just going to say other art decisions now. And my style has completely evolved from the first time I picked up that first pencil. So, yeah. Actually, I still do have my first um, sketchbook here. When I first started my art journey, oops, this was my sketchbook. Let me bring you up a bit for you to see it. This was my sketchbook. Now, I made this sketchbook myself, and this sketchbook that I made is made from Bristol board, different color Bristol. So there's white, there's yellow, there's red, there's black, there's blue in here. I don't think there's green. Yeah. And there's a yellowish Bristol. And my that's why I said I know when I started my art journey, because it was this the first thing I drew. I think this was the first thing. The first thing I drew was not on the first page, which was this. This was not the first thing I drew. This was the first thing I drew. So that's how I know when I began my art journey. And see, I dated it. And I thought it was the 18th. No, the 18th was my YouTube journey, because I used to do um I misunderstood. It's not my art journey, because I used to do scrapbooking and card making. And my first video was a scrapbooking video or a card making video, one of those. And that's how I know that date, the 18th of July. But this is my first drawing ever. Ever, 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 ever. This was the first thing I drew. So, yeah. It's kind of interesting that this was my art style back then. This is me trying to do a self-portrait. Oh my gosh, it's humiliating. Ah, these were the days. Yeah. And I just continued. I just continued until now. My art style. Is there something I have here? Yeah. Continue. Where today, this is now my art style. This is, you would have seen this when I did the Crayola retired colors. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. So, I'm getting there. That's why I said I don't call myself the best, because it took a while for me to get there. I'm looking at this. This is a real coloring book that I bought here in the country of Belize. I didn't buy it online. And when I first saw it, I know it's AI generated, because look at that. What is that? I don't know what that is. And now look at this. I don't know. Oh, real coloring book that I bought here in the country of Belize. AI generated. Oh man. This is what I'm exposed to. What I have done is I actually made my own coloring books. So yeah, I made my own coloring books. But this is just for me, just to practice on. Because when I notice when I try to color my own art that I do, I want it to be perfect. But when I'm using these coloring books, it's like I could cut my brain off and I don't have to think so hard. And the pressure of wanting it to be perfect is not there. And to be honest, I could use some brains shut off time now, because yesterday I had a report to do. I'm still not done with the report, but doing a report in generating numbers and trying to put things together and analyzing and discussing data is a time consuming. And I managed to do 80% of the report in one day, which is a lot. And that includes analyzing data. and I did 80% of it in one day. So right now, I think I could use a bit of brain shut off time. And that's what I like about coloring books. I could just shut my brain off. I do have next to me, if I flip this over, my sharpener. You can see it right there. Yeah, so I love crank sharpeners. It's not a um situation where I say, "Oh, I like it." No, I love crank sharpeners. I really do. But I do have next to me a little dish with some traditional sharpeners, handheld conventional sharpeners in it. Because some of the stuff can best use with those, but I love crank sharpeners. It hurt my heart when one of my crank sharpener broke. I was working with some color pencils, I think it was last week, and one of my crank sharpener, one that I bought here in Belize, to be honest, broke. And it's one of those things, like I said, where it goes through seasons, and now I can't find it anywhere here in Belize. So I'm like pretty depressed. And I would buy another one back because it is sold on Amazon, but I have issues with the mailbox service. So it's like, okay, no. So what do you do when the thing that you love the most you can't get access to? Yeah. So the sharpener I showed you is an X-Acto sharpener. It has like a little suction. Thankfully, my desk has a part of it where it is non-permeable, so it can stick to the desk. Oh gosh, we've been going for 52 minutes. 52 minutes I've been blabbering. I hope you're not bored. It would break my heart if I'm boring you. I do have another swatch to do. No, I have to put this up. This doesn't. This is not in use anymore. This one here. This is from the. This is a Marco Raffine or Raffine colored pencils. These were also some of the. When I learned to buy things internationally, these were some of the first things I bought. I also have this on my chopping block to swatch out. And I have another one somewhere. 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 I have these things all over this place. Somewhere to swatch out. There's actually two more besides. Oh, there they are. To swatch out. This is one of them. This is my Polychromos palette. Yes, I do have the Polychromos. I managed to get some of them individually, so I was able to put together a 36 color palette. And I also have this, which is the pointer. So I do have to re-swatch. I already last night I re-swatched all my water-based markers. That was a lot. And the watercolor markers. I did that last night. That was a lot. That's a whole book. But it's done and I'm happy. So now I'm re-swatching those for every year. I try to re-swatch some of my my mediums every year. I do a re-swatch. Just because, you know, just in case the color fades, you know. I'm actually all right now. I guess the the guy, the gardener, went on lunch because it's almost lunchtime here. It's 11:18, so he probably went for lunch. Yeah. I didn't think this book was AI generated because up to this point I colored a couple pages in here. So I didn't think it was AI generated until I reached this page. And I don't understand how they bark for these treacles. I was like, okay, you are AI generated. But I can't give it away. But then now that'll just perpetrate the same problem. And I'm taking my and I'm taking my time to do this, so and I'm getting to know Jen. So yeah. 56 minutes and I'm not even halfway through this thing yet. And I'm not even doing any elaborate or major coloring book techniques. I'm just doing flat coloring. And I have spent 50 almost an hour just doing flat coloring. Which is wow. That's just amazing. Flat coloring, and I took almost an hour just to do flat coloring. But I do need to. One of the things I learned in coloring book is to put like a backing sheet under the page. Because sometimes I learned that when I'm doing the coloring book, I there's like indentations I created. Maybe an area went just a bit too hard, like here there's an indentation, and that indentation will superimpose itself on this other side of the page. So this is made from cardstock. I think I put either 2 or 3 cardstock together and glue it together. So this is really thick. And so I use this as my backing page when I'm doing color pencil or marker art, just so that it doesn't superimpose itself on the other paper. So yeah. I don't know if other colorists does that. I do it because it's really nice. Like I said, in my live streams, I like to talk about little tricks of the trade, the secret behind the sauce. So that, it's not just me here telling you how good I am when I actually don't think I am. So it's like, oh yeah, these are all the things I discovered. Well, yeah, I discovered them. Some of them I discovered. Some of them I learned them from other art YouTubers. And please don't ask me the names because I'm really bad. I'm really bad at remembering names. But if I could remember, I didn't discover it, I will say it's not me because I'm not a Miss Know It All. Yeah, it is. Thank you so much, Jen. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for telling me my live stream is not boring. I guess he's back from lunch. I think my dog is getting old. Back then, when she was a bit younger and my husband used to do the lawn, you know, when he puts the machine on, you will hear her, just, gosh, you think she's gonna kill the machine. Yeah, he has been going at this since this morning, and you haven't heard her once. So I think she's getting old. She's at that stage in life like, I'm too old for this. So she's probably asleep knowing her. Because I know the older she gets, the more She seems to love to sleep more. She doesn't stay up as much. She's about 5 years old now. So yeah, I think she's getting old. Like I said, I think I want to do these in traditional colors and then maybe use funky colors for the animals. Because this doesn't really give you a large selection of browns. You know, it only gives you about four browns. Literally, traditionally, four browns. Because this is actually a gray. This is not a brown. So it only gives you four browns, four traditional browns, and a reddish brown, like a Indian red. You know what the funny thing is? Another thing I find amazing about my art journey is one of the part of my art journey, and this is like 2009, early 2019, late 2018 when I first started art. Um, One of the persons I used to follow, and I still follow her up to today's day, is Eve Bolt. Now, Eve is a Canadian art YouTuber. And one of the things that Eve does, she also makes her own paint. Being somebody who's new to art, and more specifically, new to watercolor, when I started to follow Eve, and Eve makes her own paint, I too wanted to make my own watercolor paints. So I started to make my own watercolor paints. What that have taught me is not to look at colors in respect to color names. Like for instance, I'm looking at this color here, lava brown. And you know, some people will see lava brown, some people will see a reddish brown, maybe I'm thinking Indian red. I see PR 102. That's what that taught me. So I don't see colors in relation to their names. I see colors in relation to their pigments. The beautiful thing about that is that I've learned that, for instance, Milan Big Lead called this lava brown. Another person would call it burnt carmine. Another person would call it something else. But at the end of the day, it's not what the company call it, it's what it's made of. And I find that interesting, literally interesting, because I have this color. The company calls it ultramarine blue, but the color is purple. It's not an ultramarine blue, it's actually a purple color. And so when I saw that, and I think that's also too, sorry, that's also too why I appreciate the fact that one of the journeys, one of the avenues I took in my art journey was making my own watercolors, is because I learned to see colors rather than seeing a color name. I see a color pigment, like, oh yeah. Because I remember I was at work and a friend who also does art, she paints. And she showed me a paint that she bought and she's like, oh, I really want that color. And I don't remember what the name of the paint was. Honestly, I don't remember. And I looked at her with a straight face and I said, oh, yeah, that looks like a PR 122. And she's like, what? The the paint that you want to buy, the color of it is PR 122. And she's like, no, 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 no. It's not PR 122. It's, I think it was like quinacridone magenta or red or something like that. And I'm like, okay, but it looks like a PR 122, regardless of what they named it. And when she got the paint, she said, you're right. It is a PR 122. So how do you know that? I said, because I don't see colors in relation to their name. I see them in relation to their pigment. Because one of the art journeys I went down was making my own watercolors, and I learned to see colors. Yeah, it is very confusing, and that's why I appreciate the fact that I went down that avenue as a artist. You know, I won't call myself self-taught, but I have been influenced and I have received instructions from all other sources. I am definitely self-motivated to learn art. So I developed my own art curriculum. And I guess there's two journeys I would love for any artist to go down. One of them would be making your own medium, your own watercolor, and the other would be making your own sketchbook. And the reason I would go down that medium, not because, yeah, you learn how to make your own sketchbook, yeah, duh, but because it's more than just about making the sketchbook. It's about paper quality. Each paper, whether it is this cardstock or this paper here, or even printer paper, each paper has its own tooth, its own quality. Each paper has its own personality. And when we put a medium on that, we not only bring out the personality of the medium, we also bring out the personality of the paper, and we also bring out the personality of our art style. It's basically a threesome. It's our art style merging with the surface that we're using, merging with the medium that we're using. And go back to my initial argument or rant when I was talking about, you know, people some art YouTubers, I'm not gonna say all, some art YouTubers who live in more developed countries, kind of trash down art mediums that they consider of lower quality. When going back to that point, because each medium, each surface, each artist have their own personality, not everybody can sleep in the same bed. Kinda. That's like comes what I'm saying. Like for instance, when it comes to this medium here, this particular medium, the Milan Big Lead colored pencils, the best surface, substrate, the best surface I've found it works very good with is cardstock. It doesn't work well on paper. If you noticed, it doesn't work well on paper. It's kind of like forcing it to work on paper. It works well on cardstock, particularly cardstock with a lot of tooth. But, you know, and if you're going to work with this particular medium on paper, the paper itself have to have some tooth. It can't be a very smooth paper. Like this is if I press hard enough, it'll feel very smooth. But because I'm giving a very light rub over, I can feel that it has a very, very minute tooth to it, you know? So that's how I'm able to hold color onto this paper, because I'm going in there not with a heavy pressure to kind of burnish the tooth, but with a really light pressure where I'm trying to appreciate the tooth of the paper. And I can imagine that there will be some people who would have been very frustrated using this paper with this pencil. First, it's a pencil that doesn't pull out a lot of pigment or a lot of color. It doesn't. It doesn't push out a lot of pigment. For you to get color pigment from this, I'll have to use my Gamsol, go over it, wait for it to dry, because using Gamsol or odorless mineral spirit over any surface, give it a bit of tooth, and then go over it again. That's how I'm able to get amazing color pull out from this. If I'm just doing what I'm doing here, which is just flat one tone coloring, I'm not gonna get an amazing color payout. But when I go with it with very, it's not, it's, I call it medium touch because it's not very light touch, but it will be considered kind of like light touch, but the lighter end of medium touch with this, I realize I'm able to get out a color and a use out of the pencil that I enjoy. And this technique that I have with these pencils on this paper works well for me with my art style. And that's why I said it's kind of like a threesome, you know, like, you have a threesome in a bed together because it has to be the paper, it has to be the medium, and it has to be your art style. You can't divorce any of it from each other. And I think too that's why some artists get frustrated when they work with certain mediums on certain surface because it doesn't match their art style. They're trying to force something together that really shouldn't go together, you know? And instead of trying to understand how they can better match it together with their art style, they just, I'm not going to change my art style or how I choose to do art. I'm just going to do this how I choose to do this, and this is what I'm going to do. And if the medium or the surface doesn't match it, the medium, the surface is bad. No. You have to alter it just a bit. Just a bit. Because my art style, I do flat coloring as a part of my art style, but I like to do a bit of shading. I like to do a bit of highlights, you know. I like to go in there. I don't do a lot of layering in my art style. And that kind of lends itself well with this type of coloring. But I am heavy-handed. But with this particular medium, with this particular paper, I can't be. So I do have to tweak my way of doing art just a bit, just to kind of fit this together. And this is what I've learned when it comes to working with cheaper pencils and cheaper art supplies. And I am aware that there's not a lot of people who are interested in, oh, she's working with cheaper stuff. It's the fact that, there's a tweak. Because I don't think there's bad art supplies out there. It's kind of like, I always say this. I always think everybody's good until you prove me wrong. So I think, I think there's all art supplies out there, all art mediums are there are good, but there are just some that they just doesn't work with me. They probably work with somebody, but with me they don't work with. I'm not going to discredit the company and tell people don't buy this because I don't know your pocket. You know, I said it in the beginning. When I was growing up, the crayons I grew up using was rose art. I felt good when I got my first box of rose art because we couldn't afford Crayola. Because in my country, Crayola was a high-end product. So yeah, I felt good when I got my box of rose art. And I learned how to work with my box of rose art. Now there's a device here. I'm actually now looking for a device. I wonder if it's this. Because I've used these pencils. So I have to put an extender onto it. If you don't have an extender, guys, Temu, Shein, AliExpress, even Amazon, they're very cheap now. Yeah, I will, one of the things I would advocate to get because it does make the most of your pencils. Especially with these pencils where I have to be mindful about my touch. And it'll be hard for me to go at the end of the pencil when it's so small. So yeah, I'm not saying if you can't get it, I understand. Again, I don't know your pocket, but yeah, it'll be a good thing to have. I think on AliExpress. I think I got these. No, these were Amazon. These were on Amazon. I think I got five for like $3 US, something like that. But on Amazon, it's even on Amazon now. On AliExpress, it's even cheaper. Yeah, there was a time when AliExpress shipped to Belize directly for free. This was before COVID, of course. But it's not so much anymore. So when I discovered, there were certain things we could have done here in Belize to get art supplies from abroad, I took full advantage of it. So yeah, full advantage. I was like, yeah. Jen, are you a colorist? What form of art do you do? You've been listening to me for over an hour and I don't know anything about you. What form of art do you do? And I do consider crafting, cooking, sewing, card making art. I call all that art. So yeah, what form of art do you do? A dancer, a singer, storyteller? My definition for art is pretty broad. My personal definition for art is pretty broad. Maybe you're a color book enthusiast. I don't know. And you're looking at me and saying, "Oh, you're doing this all wrong." Was it mocha I used? I think it was wood brown. Uh, this pencil is at one of those weird length where it is too short to be comfortable, but too long to need a pencil extender. Because I keep finding myself going like this, but really, it's just at one of those weird lengths. But I have a feeling that by the time I'm done with coloring all these, it'll be at a nice, comfortable pencil extending length. Wow, you can knit? That's amazing. Eco print. What? What is eco print? I've never heard of eco prints before. Is that something like jelly printing? Interestingly, I live in a pretty close knit community. So I do know the gardener. He's one of my neighbors. There's not a lot of, like I said, I live pretty isolated and remote from the city, Belize City, but there's not a lot of homes or families where I live. I think there's about maybe 10 family in my area, maybe 10. This is so cool. Okay, I have to be mindful because, like I said, I do think that this coloring book was AI generated. Hence why I have the weird tree trunk here. The one other thing that I enjoy about coloring book, and it's something I kind of advocate a lot of people to do, especially if you do a lot of, because it doesn't have to be a coloring book with color pencils. It could be a coloring book with paint, because you do have surfaces where you can paint with acrylics, with oils, with watercolor. It's not necessarily a coloring book. It might be a palette now, a board. Oh, wow. That's amazing. Eco print. That's super cool. Really, that is amazing. I can imagine it's a pretty messy kind of hobby. I never got into jelly printing or prints for that matter because I draw as a part of my hobby. I review art supplies as a part of my hobby. I make sketchbooks as a part of my hobby. I love fountain pens as a part of my hobby. I was like, you know what? I have to stop somewhere. Oh man, you have to be careful with that stuff. As a nurse, I should know you need to be careful when using chemicals. So, when I look at these amazing other art YouTubers who got into jelly printing and I'm like, oh gosh, no. I have to draw the line somewhere. So yes, please be careful with that stuff because even though yes, I literally I've never heard of eco print before. I do know about chemicals and making watercolors, and I know you have to be very careful when handling certain substances, especially when, like for me, making watercolor paints, I have to be careful when I'm handling pigment powders, because some pigment powders are very toxic. And again, I don't live in one of those countries that has very strict um, chemical control laws. So I have to be mindful because I think, like, for instance, and I say that because, like, in the state of California, you can't buy cadmium. Well, I could buy cadmium, and I have no problem bringing cadmium in the country of Belize because we don't have a restriction against cadmium. Okay. Yeah, I last time I made paints too was like 3 years ago, I think was the last time I made my last batch of paints. I think I shared some of my handmade paints with Annie over Annie Claxton. Sent some to her in England. But that was like 2, 3 years ago because I haven't really made any. Oh, we're approaching the 1:30 mark. 1 hour, 30 minutes of being live, and I'm not even halfway done. You believe that? I'm not even halfway done. I'm not even halfway done. But I'm a good ways there, and this is good. This is really relaxing. I am able to like just shut down a bit. And one of the things too I should add before, like, last discussion point, I think, because I'm not sure if I want to be here for 3 hours doing this, but one of my discussion points is that something that I learned that coloring book does for me is not only turn off my brain and just let me focus on putting color onto paper, but also there's like techniques that I could develop. Like For instance, I know that with this medium on this surface, this is what I learned to do. This is what I'm doing. So if I meet this medium again with a similar surface, I know what kind of art style to adopt and what art techniques I need to do with this to bring out the best for this medium in my art style on this surface, you know? Like I said, it's like a funny threesome, you know? The surface, the medium, and your art style, you know, all have to be in the same bed together. And your job as the artist is to figure out how to make them work. Now, I'm not saying those people who get frustrated and said this is a bad product, don't ever buy this product, don't know how to make them work. I'm saying it doesn't work for them, but I don't think they want to admit that. So they're telling you, don't buy it because they're under the impression that everybody in this that view them has their art style. That's what I'm thinking. And that might not be so. Because some YouTube artists, they draw realistically. You can't use these pencils to do anything realistic. So that person will get frustrated with this art supply. Some artists love to put a lot of layers down. These pencils will give you 3 layers at best. So yeah, they will not like this. They don't really build color. See, like, look at me. I'm using a different color right now. You don't see anything going down, do you? Nothing. That's because I've already saturated the tooth of the paper. And I wasn't even superimposing. Now, if I really want to make a difference, I will superimpose this color onto the paper. But I don't wanna. I don't wanna. Wanna. Don't you wanna. It's a Fanta commercial. Okay. I think I'm gonna end it here for now. I think an hour and 30 minutes is a good enough practice for this week for this live stream. Thank you so much, Jen, for hanging in there with me. I am immensely grateful, literally grateful that you stuck it out with me, girl. You're ride or die. Thank you so much. I'm gonna go grab some water because I feel my throat getting a bit scratchy, and get something to eat. And I'll probably rest my hand a bit and come back to this maybe later on today and finish up these color swatches that I have here, because yeah, I really do need to do them. Finish my color exercise. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for so much for joining me on this journey. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed, and I'll see you in the next one. Let's see if we could do another impromptu live stream next week. Maybe. I don't know. Bye.